brothers, welcome to episode 2 of One East Podcast. I'm Brother David Euwings, your current Delaware State Director and host of One East Podcast. I'm fortunate enough to once again be joined by your current Vice Regional Director, presumptive number 28, Brother Nigel Coelho. How's it going?
All is well, man. All is well. Same as before. All is well, good brother.
Yeah, all is well as we approach ERC. And we're also joined by the current Director of Bigger and Better Business and perhaps future Vice Regional Director, Brother Ben Alston. Brother Ben, how's it going?
Good. Good evening.
So, Brother Coelho, if you want to set the scene, just remind brothers what the One East Podcast is about, and then we can move forward from there.
No, absolutely. It's good to be here for episode 2. As we, as we said at the conclusion of episode 1, this is a gift to the brothers. This is a new mode, a form of communication that we plan to release regularly in the Eastern region. Really, just talking about prudent items and actions that are going on, not just in the Eastern region, but in our fraternity. So this is definitely going to be an ongoing journey. You'll see members of your regional leadership that will be here. You won't always even see my face on here, but you'll see, our program directors, various members of the regional leadership that will be using this as a platform to promote the great activities that we do in the region and how we can better serve our communities in this mantra of brotherhood over everything.
Gotcha. Thank you. And Brother Alston, welcome to the One East again. For brothers who may somehow not know your story, your journey in Sigma, and who you are, if you want to take a couple minutes and just introduce yourself and tell brothers exactly who you are.
Good evening, brothers. For those that don't know me, my name is Ben Alston. I came into this great organization of ours in the spring of 1991 at the University of Albany, Mu Iota chapter. It was a different time back in 91. It just celebrated an anniversary, about 33 years in the organization. Since graduating, I've transitioned to Kappa Beta Sigma chapter in Brooklyn, New York, where I've been enjoying myself immensely with some positive brothers, be it Jonathan Mason or Peter Adams, or even my current president, Clifford Monders here. Built a lot of great relationships in this leadership run, starting from when I was president in Kappa Beta Sigma. Then I became state director under the guidance of Devon Henry, number 26. And since then, I've been continuing my leadership run in terms of understanding the region, getting to know the different brothers in the different states. And now I'm serving as the Eastern Regional Director of Bigger and Better Business. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm a father of a soror. Came in a couple of years ago. Hopefully you guys will be seeing it during the Eastern Regional Conference. I'm very overprotective, just to make sure I put that out there. So I'm enjoying this Sigma journey and learning the brothers and getting to know different people from throughout the region. So.
Gotcha. And speaking of Zetas in the family, Brother Vice, you just welcomed a Zeta into your family, did you not?
Yes, sir. My youngest child, my only daughter, Brooke, just joined the sisterhood, our constitutionally bound sisterhood. She's one of the newest members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Actually, crossing at the Epsilon New chapter, which happens to be on the campus of SUNY Albany, where a certain
Say what?
SUNY Albany. I will say it again. She's just overly excited. Just unbelievable experience. So yeah, she too will be at the conference, and yeah, both my daughter and Ben's daughter not only got daddies, but they got a whole lot of uncles. So
yes.
So we look forward to them being with us in PG County at the conference.
Very, very, very subtle security nods there, brothers. Just putting that out there. I mean, the threat is real.
Oh yeah.
So talking about similarities beyond daughters who are now a Zeta, talk about your two relationship and how that's progressed since, I don't know, tell me from the beginning up to now, and how you two have marched on to presumptive vice regional director and regional director. Whoever wants to start.
You start.
All right, you got it. So that's actually a great story. Ben and I got to know one another actually, I guess in the days and months leading up to when his chapter hosted the Eastern Regional Conference in 2014. And I think we may have known one another from a distance, but we never really got a chance to really connect and to know one another on a personal level. And going into that conference, as I said, his chapter was actually one of the primary hosts, and really the primary host chapter. That conference was in Brooklyn, New York at the time, at the Brooklyn Marriott. And I was, at the time, I was actually running to serve in the role of Eastern Regional Director of Bigger and Better Business. I'd been away from the board for a number of years. I had taken a break, I think, as I mentioned in our last episode, really spent time with the family. And that conference was to be kind of my return back to the board. You know the saying, you want to make God laugh, make plans. Well, God had a different plan for me because I actually lost that election. To a good brother who I have a great relationship with today, brother Dumasani Sawazi. But in the process of that campaign, I got to know brother Alston, and also just watching Ben's work as they prepared to host that conference. I believe you were the chapter president at the time, right, of KBS, right, Ben? So just really got to know him. Our relationship just continued to grow. And 2 years later, when Brother Henry, as Ben mentioned, was looking for a state director for New York, Ben's name was mentioned. And I thought it was a great deal. Devon, one of the things I really give Devon credit for is Devon was very astute at identifying brothers in the region who may not have previously served at any level of leadership, but I'm really giving them an opportunity to grow and flourish. And Ben had at the time, as I said, had served at the chapter level, had been a chapter president, but this was an opportunity to really have a new start in New York with a state director that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. And in his 4 years there, I think he really proved his worth. New York is one of those states because of its size and its breadth that it's not easy. It's not easy being a state director in any state in the Eastern region. Let's be clear, as you know, Brother Euwings. But New York is just a beast because you're literally talking about being the state director for chapters that are literally 7 to 8 hours away from one another. If you're talking about going from Long Island all the way to Buffalo, and I think Ben navigated that time very well. He did an incredible job reactivating chapters, reactivating collegiate chapters that previously had been struggling or inactive, actually chartering collegiate chapters. I remember joking with him. So he was the state director at the time when the charter for the new chapter up at SUNY Plattsburgh happened. And I had no idea, none of us on the board had any idea, where is SUNY Plattsburgh? And he showed us on the map just how far north it was in New York State. And I said, oh, yeah, well, we ain't driving up there. So, yeah, that's a trek, but that just goes to show the quality of work and what this brother did. And our relationship really grew from there. He was part of the state directors under Brother Henry had a little nick. They called themselves the Gooms. It was Ben. It was Brother Malwan Johnson out of Maryland. Brother George Darby out of New Jersey. Brother Curtis Word, God rest his soul. We just recently lost. Dale Harris, Derek Jennings.
Chris Coward.
I'm sorry.
Chris Coward.
Chris Coward, that's right. Chris Coward and Marlo Simon from New England. I think I got everybody. That was a great group of brothers, and that was again Ben's and my relationship continued to grow. I was coming out. I was elected 2 years later, regional director of Bigger and Better Business, and then as my 4 years came to an end, going into 2020, Ben announced and was successful in his run to be the regional director of Bigger and Better Business. And I couldn't have picked a better brother to really follow behind me or to really come behind me in that role, because he really just continued the momentum that we have been building, not just from the international level, but here on the regional level. So yeah, that relationship has really just grown. Folk think we've known and been this tight for a long time, but it's really been over the course of these last 10 years that relationship has grown. But it's really been a relationship that's grown out of mutual respect. I think a mutual work ethic to want to see things done and done the right way. And that's really how the relationship has grown in what's relatively a short period of time.
But also, I just want to add to one of the things that's overlooked, and he just kind of skipped over the brotherhood and the bouncing things off. So everything that I've done at some point in time, I've reached out to him to bounce things off.
Yeah.
Nigel was not a one-time state director, but a two-time state director. So if
Yeah,
anybody can tell me about some of the pitfalls and issues that might transcend as a state director, he could. Going
yeah,
into bigger and better business, I'm coming right behind him.
right.
There's some things that I needed to know in terms of how the state coordinators work and what that
Yeah,
is, or different relationships with the international director of bigger and better business. He served as a great mentor as well as a good brother in terms of just giving positive reinforcement. And I think that's sometimes overlooked when you start talking about brothers in old positions, and then turning back and helping the brothers that's coming behind them or giving them some type of mentorship.
yes,
I have a whole host of brothers, like a brother Nigel Coelho that has given me different guidance throughout my 33 years. And again, I'm older than in Sigma years. I'm older than that, but doesn't mean that you can't learn from someone that's younger based on
yeah,
their
Yeah.
experiences. So I mean,
yeah,
that's to be applauded, and brothers need to start looking at that going forward. In terms of everyone has something to give. You just have to find out what they can give and work on that relationship. And I love the relationship we have. I love the relationship I have with the brothers on the board as well. So thank
yes.
you. But I just wanted to point out. Kind of overlook that one.
No, you're right. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a delegate in 14 in New York, and I got to tell you, I really don't remember that conference. I don't know if it's because of the
Oh, so you don't
activities or
remember
because
the open bar and the DJ and the band?
That's why you don't remember it.
yeah, that might be why. I mean,
Yeah, right,
it's a
right.
blur. It's an
It's
absolute blur.
all a blur. Yeah,
Yeah, it was. There were a lot of good things in that. I learned a lot because that was my first time really helping with the conference.
Hmm.
The chair really for the conference was Honorable Brother Greville French.
right.
But every chapter had a key role. But certain people work a little harder than other people. But it was a great experience, great learning experience in terms of the ins and outs, and I can lean on that experience in terms of the past two conferences, the ones that Nigel and myself co-chaired in Philadelphia, and the current regional conference that we're assisting the chair now, Brother Christopher Stifford. So it's everything that we've done, and it's building. It's getting better and better. So
Hmm.
based on that, those
Yeah.
experience
Yeah,
wise.
speaking of regional conference, I mean, when this drops, we'll be exactly 2 weeks out, I believe, from the start of around 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
And Brother Alston, you're running for the Eastern Regional Vice Regional Director.
Yes, sir.
And so I mean, there's been this whole campaign season, area meetings, and different chapter events and meetings to discuss campaign. But I think one thing I've never heard question asked this type of way is directly why you over Brother Minor.
So I had that question a couple times. I will never say me over somebody. I'll say
I
why I
will.
want to be that candidate.
I'm making a choice.
Me, no, I got you. I'm making a choice, and I got you. And my choice is it's me because I feel I am the best candidate based on my experience as growing up in this region, being made in this region, and knowing what this region needs. I think you need experience to be a vice regional director and understanding what the position wants and understanding in terms of how you're going to communicate not only with collegians but alumni brothers. And having that experience will help you. I feel that I have a lot of experience to give, have a lot of knowledge, and I have some things to learn. Nobody's perfect, so I want to learn more. I want to make sure everyone is feeling listened to and understood within the region. I think over the last several years, we've had challenges in the region, to say the least. And I think with the correct leadership, Brother Nigel Coelho, with the next regional director, I think with that strong leadership and a strong person to back him going forward, I think the possibilities of what we can do as a team and as a board are endless. So I'm looking forward to it. That's why I put it nice.
No, I hear that, and I didn't give preview for this, but Nigel, Brother Coelho, I'm going to ask you the same question: why Brother Ben Alston over Brother Minor?
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, look. Let me just start off by saying I have no personal issue with Brother Minor. I think he's an amazing young brother. I can't have issue with a brother who literally is my son's chapter brother. Okay. I mean, that's So this is not somebody that I don't know and that does not know me. But again, as a leader, and one of your tasks as a leader sometimes is to have the difficult conversations and to make the difficult decisions. This decision was not as difficult for me, if I could say so respectfully, because though I have a lot of love for the brother, if you look at this from a strictly professional perspective, who has the better level of experience and who has the resume, it's really no question. And when we make decisions as a region, as a regional director, really as a fraternity, we have to make those decisions the same way we would be called upon to make those decisions in the professional lives that we live. And you would not hire somebody who clearly is underqualified for the role. And again, that's not a personal affront. It's just the reality. I plan as the next regional director to put a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility on my vice director, as our current regional director has done to me. But if I could say so respectfully, Brother Reeves did that because he knew the quality and experience of the vice director that he had. As Brother Alston said, I was a 2-time past state director. I've served on this regional board for almost 15 years. So 15 different years throughout my tenure, both in the late 90s and early 2000s and now. So I know what it takes to really be successful and to be successful in leadership. And for me to be successful in leadership, it's incumbent on me to surround myself with the most experienced and the most talented that this region has to offer. Brother Alston is a past New York State Director. He's a past chapter president. He's a multi-time regional and conclave committee member. He was recognized at this past conclave for being an outstanding supporter of our international director of Bigger and Better Business, Brother Terrence Gibson. And if you ask Brother Gibson right now, who are his guys, there are 2 people he's going to say. One is probably Brother Mike Harvey, who's my guy out in the Southwestern region. The other one is Brother Ben Alston. That they are his really good. And that's not a knock on the other regional directors of Bigger and Better Business. That's just, in a pinch, who does that brother call when he knows he needs to get something done? And Ben is a get something done type of a brother. That's why when I was asked by our director in 2022 to take on the chair of our regional conference with barely over 100 days to go before that conference was going to happen, I had one non-negotiable. And that non-negotiable, the brother director, was Ben Alston got to be my co-chair, because there's no way I can pull this thing over the finish line unless I have somebody with his experience and somebody who also professionally as a project manager. We complement one another perfectly. It's how we manage many tasks in this region and how we have done it. It's why when I needed representation for the Crescent Club Development Program Committee under the auspices of our international first vice president, Brother David Turner, Ben Alston was one of the names I selected. That's not something we're going to be working on in the future. We're doing it now. And again, I think when brothers really look at the resumes of the 2 candidates and really listen to what the 2 candidates are planning on doing, if you're going to be the vice regional director, we don't have time for you to be out here collecting chants and songs. We don't have time for on-the-job training. You need to hit the ground running day one. And there's really only one candidate in this race that it makes sense to select if this region is going to move forward.
So that was a great video. Maybe we should have just made that into a commercial and sent that out to the region.
You know what? I can't.
You know what?
I'm gonna take a sip on that.
You know what? I will add one thing. Just to bring it home. At the end of the day, man, me and my opponent, me and brother mine are friends. We were friends before this.
Mm-hmm.
Friends doing this. We had a conversation before. We're not going to make this messy. At the end of the day, we are both here to serve the region. We have 2 different viewpoints in how that is accomplished, but we're both here to serve the region. Yeah. So after this race, no matter what happens, we're still going to be friends, and we're going to still serve the region. And that's what's most important. We have to get past this thing that if someone runs against you, that it has to be a bad thing. At the end of the day, like Brother Coelho said, brotherhood over everything. This is brotherhood. You're just competing to serve. That's it. It's not a negative thing. It's not an issue where I'm contentious. I hate everybody that he knows and vice versa. It's not that. It's just who feels that they can do the better job, and that's it. And it doesn't have to be an angry situation. It doesn't have to be contentious. And from the time that we started back in September, which is a long time, it's been nothing but professional. It's been nothing but brotherly. And I just want to applaud him for that. And I'm looking forward for these next 15 days and a couple hours to conclude.
Not that you count it all. Not that I have a counter on my phone at all, which I do. I have 2 counters, one for the start of ERC and one for the end of my state director term.
That's right.
True story.
That part.
But to take a step back, no, I said that and jokingly, but I said that respectfully for the respect of that endorsement and the quality of the relationship you guys had, because I mean there's a ringing endorsement, and then there's like, you know, a nuclear bomb endorsement. That was my first reaction to the quality of that endorsement. So that's what that was about.
I
But
appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And let me say
that,
this too.
and I appreciate the endorsement.
Yeah. And let me say this too. I look at Ben's opponent, and I put him in the same category. And I'm gonna, because I believe in being intentional. We have an incredible group of young future leaders in this region, and I put Brother Minor in that category, along with brothers like Cliff Mondesir in New York, Rashon Howard, who I believe in 15 days will be a member of this board. Brother Christopher Stiff, who's already a member of this board, serving and is currently the conference chair. I think of brothers like Akil Mondesir in New England. I think of brothers like Aaron Lewis, our current and will be our future DC State Director. So when I see young brothers like that, I know it makes me feel good, because I know my responsibility as a brother now who's got a little bit of gray on the beard is to really serve as a mentor for those brothers, the same as brothers like Sherrod Barnes, Dan Tan, Marvin Cheatham, Eric Gilliam, Charles Anderson, all served as mentors for me. Michael Furby, all served as mentors for me as a collegiate and young alumni brother, and have really helped for me to be the brother that's ready to be the regional director. So that's really something serious. It's not an affront to the brother. I think he's an amazing young brother. We have a lot of amazing young talent in this region. We have a responsibility to mentor those brothers and to prepare them for leadership, both in the fraternity and also professionally as well. Because the more you do in the fraternity, a lot of what we do here in Sigma helps to hone us and sharpen us for what can be success in our professional endeavors as well.
And we also have a lot that's still yet to be discovered, yet to come from under their shadow.
Absolutely.
The hope is over the next in this next administration, we bring those brothers out. We give them that training, that guidance, so they can be the next chapter president, the next EDD or state director or regional director of bigger and better business, and albeit regional director. I think this next administration is going to focus on growth not only in terms of membership, but growth in terms of leadership. So I'm looking forward to being integral in that part, one way or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the next questions that pop in my head is two parts. So the first part is for you, Brother Alston. Talking about younger brothers coming up, we have Brother Rashon Howard, who's the presumptive director of bigger and better business. Talk about their relationship that you guys have and how that's going to transition. Assuming you're a vice regional director and he's a bigger and better business director.
That relationship is a great relationship. The moment I got into the role of regional director of bigger and better business, I reached out to Rashon and I asked him to be a part of the team. So he's integral part of the Eastern Regional Bigger and Better Business team. He's done webinars. The relationship is, I don't know if you want to, it's called, I guess it's a mentor-mentee. I know he has a lot of mentors, and I think he counts me as one of them in terms of giving him some guidance and in terms of career path and just a shoulder to bounce things off of and just to listen. He's a bright young man with a bright future, a very bright future. Financially, that is him. That's what he does for a living. So this BBB realm is him 125%. Not part-time, not full-time, 125%. He sleeps it, he breathes it, he eats it. I'm excited. I'm excited because if you know Rashon, he's always smiling, he's always full of energy, and he's energetic. And to bring that to the BBB program, oh my gosh, y'all got to watch out. Strap in, because it's going to be a nice ride. Strap in. I'm fully supporting him, fully trying to help him exceed anything that anyone has ever done from an Eastern Regional perspective in terms of BBB. And I know he will do it. So, yes.
Gotcha. And the second part of my thought there, Brother Coelho, is the regional board is going to have a bit of a turnover. A lot of young talent entering the board. And this could be for both of you, but what's your thoughts on the ideas, the energy, speaking with Brother Alston just said, the energy that's going to come to the board, the ideas that are going to come to the board, the pushback that's going to come to the board from some of the youngers. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I like the balance. I think that this presumptive board is going to have. I think the best key for success is a good balance of seasoned experience and youthful energy. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that the seasoned experience can't exude some youthful energy, and it doesn't also mean that the youthful energy can't exude some experience. I look at a brother like Christopher Stiff. Chris is the youngest old man I've ever met. But he's extremely passionate about social action. It's not just a program to him. He same as what Ben said about Rashon. Chris lives it, eats it, and breathes it. Um, Alfred Jackson, our current regional secretary. Let me tell you something. Having Alfred on this board has just been just a blessing. The brother's attention to detail, his tireless work ethic, just unbelievable. Bradley Brookins is an amazing financial mind. I think the thing that folks have come to really appreciate about Bradley is you can take Bradley's financial summaries and it mimics anything you hear in a corporate boardroom for a Fortune 500 company because that's the level he's thinking on. And as leaders in this organization, that's the way we've got to start thinking and viewing and respecting Sigma. Sigma is just like those organizations. Yeah, we may not have the same financial status, but we're growing as a fraternity, and we're doing more good than I think a lot of folk want to give us credit for. Sometimes, and we even want to give ourselves to hear the chatter from some folks in and around this organization on social media. So when people look at this board, that's the energy that you're going to see. That's the fire that you're going to see. And one of the things this board is going to do right off the bat is take intentional steps to make sure we're building that internal camaraderie because we are going to have some turnover. We have new board members coming on and joining, joining with some more seasoned board members or board members that have served. So we're just incredibly thankful, Brother Euwings. We're excited to have you as our presumptive next director of publicity. You already have amazing ideas and thoughts. This podcast is your brainchild, and we wouldn't bring it to fruition without you and your and your amazing talent. I told you long ago I was a fan of your podcast. That's where the idea and this vision came to the fore. So I think with all of those different parts, we're going to form a perfect synergy. Yeah, we're going to have our challenges. When you lead a region this large, this diverse, with brothers who are opinionated and have every right to be, you have a level of accountability, and we fully understand that. I fully understand that, and I'm just really excited for the opportunity to be taking this journey with this board because I think it's going to help us to make not just this board better, but this region as well.
Yeah. So last thoughts about the incoming board and kind of, everybody has a 90-day question, right? Where do you see yourself in 90 days? What's your 90-day plan? So for both of you, 90 days post Eastern Regional Conference, where do you see this board at? Where do you see the Eastern region at?
I'll start and let you
Yeah.
close it out, brother director. So I see the board in terms of getting acclimated with one another. I think training is going to be key. Training not only for the state directors, ADDs, but also for the board members. We need to understand what your roles and responsibilities are. I don't want you to guess or to assume. You need to understand what your roles are as a regional director of bigger and better business or education, what have you, and so that we're clear in what the expectation is. And that's one. I think that's the first thing. And then getting people acclimated. I mean, I think we've all made campaign promises in terms of things that we want to see and that we want to do. I want to see growth. So the responsibilities for state directors is going to change. It's going to be more analytical. Again, I have my MBA with a concentration in managerial analytics, so I want to see the numbers. And I think the only way that those numbers grow is to make sure that the state directors and the ADD team are supporting our local chapters and identifying them. So that's one. The other thing is communication. We need to look at how our communication is working, and that's going to be working with you as the director of publicity, as well as us in terms of the frequency of how we communicate, and then what that conversation looks like from alumni to collegiate and collegiate to alumni, and making sure it works. And lastly, coming together at our area meetings and giving a summary in terms of what we found thus far in those first 90 to 100 days to get a better understanding in terms of, all right, this is our target plan. We said this is what we've accomplished thus far, and these are the next steps. And I think going forward, everything that we do, there's going to be clear communication. You're not going to have to wonder what's next. You're not going to have to wonder what's coming back from the international scene, as well as making sure that people have some type of understanding. Like your responsibility is to know your constitution, not only your chapter, but your regional and your international constitution, and making sure that we enforce it and give everyone the opportunities and the tools and the resources to do so. So that's why I see the first 100 days. But the initial first step is the board understanding their roles and responsibilities, and making sure that we're holding each other accountable. So I'm looking forward to that.
So I couldn't say what the first 100 days are going to look like any better than Ben said it. So I'm going to go past the first 100 days because I want brothers to understand how far out and how intentional this board is going to be. So once we do everything Ben just said in those first 90 to 100 days, what's next, right? So I can tell you right now, what's next will be a day-long training session for all the presidents and vice presidents at the chapter level in our region that will be held over the summer. Because we talk about training, we've actually got to be about it. And it'll just be the first step of many, but we feel it's important enough for that first training to actually be an in-person, one-day, call it what you want, a one-day full-on training session, where we're going to help our chapter presidents focus on things like Robert's Rules, how to use and execute Robert's Rules to better manage and run your chapter meetings, things of that nature. We're going to talk about a strategic plan for our region. And yes, we will have actually co-chairs of a regional strategic planning team that is going to be working throughout the summer in conjunction and collaboration with the board to really start building a real strategic plan for this region. Because let's be clear, the fraternity has a strategic plan that was adopted in Houston at Conclave. Many regions have one. We have nothing as a region right now. We got to play some catch up. We got some work to do. When you go into the fall, we are already working on the locations and dates for our fall area meetings because we want to be respectful of brothers' time and also of their calendar as well. Brothers are busy. They got a lot going on besides just signing. You've got family responsibilities, professional responsibilities. So we want to make sure we get those dates on brothers' calendars so brothers are able to come out and support. We will be celebrating the 90th anniversary of Social Action this fall. We plan to do that right here in the Eastern region, and really closing out the year 2024 focused on, growth in 2025. I believe we can hit the 4,000 member mark in 2025. That will be my challenge to our vice regional director in 2025. But the only way we're going to do that is through a strategic plan and, like Ben said, analytical analysis and understanding of the numbers and where our growth opportunities are. But I'm confident that as we hit the mark, as we trek into Tampa Conclave in Tampa in 2025, that the Eastern region can and will and should be at 4,000 members. And then let's start thinking about 2 years out now. Wouldn't it be great if we knew before we get out of this year where our 2026 Eastern Regional Conference is going to be? I've already shared that with some folk about the plans for our 2026 Eastern Regional Conference. And though we're not going to announce it at our current regional conference because we don't want to be too presumptive, but I've already mentioned it to a lot of folk where we plan to go for our 2026 Eastern Regional Conference. I'll give a hint. We're going to a place that, based on what all the historians have told me, we haven't had a regional conference at in nearly 35 years. But we're going to go back to that place and really make it special. And the way we're going to do that is by planning effectively. So that's our commitment. So again, that's what Ben talked about the first 100 days. That's what the next 6 to 9 months are going to look like as we close out this 2024 year.
Gotcha. I think that's code for y'all coming to Delaware. I think that's what it is.
Once we get one of those shirts, as long as we get one of those first state shirts.
Yeah.
I get one of those first state shirts.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I can't be
FedEx.
Joking.
FedEx. My imaginary secretary, FedEx. So talking about regional conferences, let's shift a little bit and talk about, like I said, about a week or 2 weeks before Eastern Regional Conference. Talk about planning. I mean, there's been some difficulties with planning. That's probably the best way I can put it. Whoever wants to go, let's talk about some of the progress in May, what brothers can look forward to.
Yeah.
Which you're most looking forward to besides elections, but what you're most looking forward to about Eastern Regional Conference?
I'll be honest. What we're most looking forward to is just getting through this conference and getting it. I wasn't getting it over with, but if you've never planned a major conference, either fraternally or professionally, we got to tell you, it's quite a journey. And for this board, this is really the second iteration that any board has had the chance to plan a conference. The first would have been in Richmond in 2020, which obviously we know was 4 years ago, was canceled due to COVID. That conference was done fully digitally online in 2020. Our first real iteration of planning a regional conference was the 190-day planning sprint that we did for Philly in 2022, which was, and again, the thing that brothers forget about the Philly conference, that was not just a first ever for the board planning a regional conference, but it was also a hybrid conference. And I think what folks have started to understand and realize, hybrid events where you've got to deliver a quality event in person and online, hybrid events carry a higher cost, and they also carry a lot of responsibility in planning. That was not easy. So now we move ahead to this conference. We're very excited. If you can't tell about the activities that are going to go on at this conference, we put our Eastern Regional Conference up there with any other region's conference. And I know some of these other regions, their cost of registration is a lot less. But if you really dig into the numbers, you got regions out here charging $200 for registration, and your butt ain't eating for 3 days. Let's just put that out there. You got other regions charging $200 for conferences that are taking place on the islands, and that's beautiful. But then you got to pay your own resort fee, your flight. By the time you get done, you're paying conclave money to go to a regional conference. So we feel very proud about the efforts and work that have gone into this conference. We've got some amazing guests that are going to join us. Hezekiah Walker, one of our newest honorary members, is going to join us. You're going to love the effects and the look of that. Listen, we have a tandem of conference planners, and these two young ladies are just unbelievable. They have helped this board to add nuances to this conference that, I'm just being honest, as dudes, as men, what I know about some balloons and decorative balloons in the lobby, I'm not thinking about that stuff. But Corinne and Tracy have been amazing support as conference planners for us. So it's going to be a great conference. We're going to come. We're going to execute the business of the region, surely. But I think brothers are really going to enjoy the fellowship aspects of what this conference has in store. And we are very excited that brothers are going to come out. Look, we booked the whole hotel out. That's a credit to the membership. And we still got brothers literally today calling up looking for rooms and registration. We ain't got none, just to be honest. So, we know we must be doing something right, and we're going to all give brothers a really great first class experience when they come to PG County in a couple of weeks.
The one thing that I think Brother Vice said best, but the one thing that I will add is options. The one thing about this conference, you're going to have options. Options to do a lot of things. There are going to be a lot of nice breakout sessions. There are going to be a lot of nice options of things that you can do. You're gonna see where your money went. You're gonna understand why. When we start talking about these other regions, they don't compare to ours. I'm just gonna be blunt. They don't compare to what we do. Apples to apples, a pound for pound, our weight is heavy. They're light. They're not. It doesn't make sense. Now you can compare us maybe to a conclave, but you can't compare us to another region. I'm gonna be real clear with that in terms of the quality of things that we do and provide. And you're going to be able to tell that by, number one, the guest list of other people from other regions joining us, as well as just the experience. I'm just looking forward to see but brothers' eyes. I'm excited to see the collegians, the amount of collegians that were coming and the participation. I'm excited to see the interactions in terms of how brothers move throughout. If we look at conclave in terms of how we move and how we might take over a libation station that's normally centered in the center of the hotel. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to some of the other little accoutrements that we have out throughout the time, and some of the little things that we have planned that brothers don't know about. So I'm excited. I can't wait for it to start. I'm hoping everyone comes with a nice attitude and just brotherly. Like, listen, this is where we're going to start growing. This is day one. Let's go. April 4th. Let's go.
So the service project, and again, kudos and hats off to our amazing director of social action, brother Stiff, has planned. And what we've always tried to do is to make the service project, no matter what conference it is, convenient for the brothers to support. Right. So 2 years ago, I don't like to always go back, but I go back to Philly 2 years ago because it was just such a unique situation. We had to figure out how to do a service project in the middle of a pandemic. So what did Brother Stiff and the team, to the credit of that group, do? They brought the service project to the hotel, right? And we didn't have to go anywhere, and we were able to pack goods for the needy, load those goods up, and get them right back out the door, back to the communities in which we were looking to serve. And we didn't even have to leave the hotel to do it. Which, again, in a time that was still a COVID time, a lot of credit to them with that. And Brother Stith and his team are doing the same. Our service project time is targeted for Friday afternoon. It's really going to be an amazing time. And again, there's multiple activities that are going to be focused on service throughout the weekend. There'll be a blood drive that will be taking place and going on throughout the weekend. We have a room already reserved for that to take place, where we'll be giving brothers the opportunity to give blood. And as people of color, that's very important, because people of color, we give blood at a percentage that's 7 to 8 times less than the general population. So it's an opportunity, to make a mark there. And not even just the service project, but we've got our corporate partners and sponsors. JP Morgan Chase will be on site. They are a corporate sponsor of this conference. Our partners from Good Health Wins, which have been repeated sponsors and supporters, not just of this region, but of the fraternity as a whole. So there's really going to be a certain look and feel to this conference. We owe a lot of that to the partners and sponsors. But yeah, the service project is just one piece that I think brothers are really going to look and are going to appreciate. And the key for us is we've set the agenda and the time to afford us the ability to do that service project on Friday, still be able to conduct the business of the region, and still give brothers the time to be able to go and enjoy themselves, and then really get ready for a great time of social fellowship on Friday evening. You got so many choices Friday evening. You got obviously our traditional step show, which we do, because we're going to pick a step show champion to represent us for Conclave 25. But there's a stroll competition, stroll education and competition for our collegiate brothers, because we know a lot of our young bros, they don't step no more. These brothers love to stroll. So we're going to meet you where you're at. We understand. So we're going to have stroll opportunities there. We've got an on-site cigar bar. It's a smoke-free hotel. However, the hotel has been gracious enough to afford us the space to have a mobile cigar lounge that will be on site on Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. We've got a casino night planned for Friday night. Again, Ben mentioned accoutrements. These are some of the things that you're going to get for your registration. These are the things that, you really only see these at a national level, at a conclave. But in the Eastern region, we know our brothers. Yeah, I said it. I said it too. But our brothers expect a first-class experience when they come to the regional conference. They ain't trying to be in Best Western Plus. Our brothers want to be in a good space when it comes to coming to a conference, and that's the quality of event that we feel we have a responsibility to deliver to the members of this region.
You said you're not leaving the light on for them, huh? No Motel 6s?
Nah, listen, bro. Listen. I don't listen, man. I only do certain things in my secular life, man. I ain't sleeping in every kind of hotel.
Listen, there was something that a brother said to us in one of the meetings with the chapters, and he said what about excellence? Excellence being a standard, or excellence being a goal.
Right.
And we have to set the standard as excellence.
Right.
And it starts with this and everything going forward. So when we start talking about excellence in terms of driving membership and recruitment, we need excellence. When you start talking about our events, be it state meetings, be it area meetings, anything forward facing, excellence is the standard. So there needs to be practice, there needs to be uniformity, there needs to be preparation. Just going by the seat of your pants. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a expectation going forward in terms of how we move as a region. Because if you want to be the best, you have to do the best things. You have to prepare for them. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you must have took a peek at my website. That's what I'm thinking.
You think so? I think so.
Just check it out.
Yeah, I think so.
That's right. That's right, Mr. Euwings for excellence.
That was an endorsement.
Softball. There you go.
That was an endorsement. Here, I'll drink to that. That was an endorsement.
There you go.
Take that.
Salute. Excellence.
Salute.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one. Give you a beginning of a sentence, and you finish it with a sentence or a couple sentences, however you want to. 4 years from now, the legacy of me as either vice regional director or regional director will be, and we can start with you, Brother Alston.
4 years from now, the legacy of me being the Eastern.
And I put the 4 years in the air, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Yeah. No, of course. The vice regional director. He was consistent, and I mean consistent in a good way. Consistent in terms of how he responded, how he got back to people, and the job that he's done. His communication and his effectiveness in terms of providing something that every brother in the region needed, no matter where they lived, no matter who they were, be it collegian or alumni. And he looked at giving brothers something for their membership, some type of gain value, and he was consistent in providing that. So that's what I hope to attain. That's what I hope to hear back, and that's what I hope for brothers to understand the type of work. I'm not about the lights, and I need to be in the forefront. As long as that work's getting done and people are appreciating what we're providing, that's what I'm most happy about. I don't need the handshakes. I don't need the other stuff. I just want the work done, and I want us to succeed. And anything I've ever done, it's been about the brothers in terms of Phi Beta Sigma. It's not been about me personally. And I want to continue that, and I want to make sure that's clear in terms of how we move forward as a region. Like, we're going to think about region first, brotherhood over everything. Same as things, regions first. So we just need to put that first, and that's what I'm looking for in 4 years, where brothers can see that and understand it, and you have a different feel in terms of how brothers are moving in this region, in terms of running for positions or the future leaders that we have. We all are focused in terms of progressing our leadership as well as our region and the fraternity. So hopefully I answered your question, brother.
Gotcha. Brother Coelho?
So in 4 years, my hope will be that brothers will look back and say that he spoke about putting brotherhood over everything, and he really did it. That he built a foundation for the next generation of leaders coming out of this region, and that he truly was a leader that was transitional in terms of uniting and unifying this region. When we say One East, that's the mantra, one of the mantras we have to live by. This region has to be united. The Eastern region, we've had our challenges through the years about being united. And I believe the biggest reason why is because we've allowed ourselves or others to put their personal agendas ahead of what's best for this region. So in 4 years, it's my prayer that brothers will know that he put this region first and not the agendas of a few, because that's, in my estimation and definition, it's unbrotherly, it's selfish, and it's not what the mantra of brotherhood over everything is all about. So that'll be my goal for these next 4 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I'll say I'm looking forward. Like I said, I put 4 years out there just because I feel like that's the direction it should be, right? I feel like there's a change. It's kind of like the seesaw goes from here and it starts to tip and it goes to the other side. I feel like that full transition is going to take 4 years. It's going to take 4 years to build a foundation that lasts past you, me. Well, maybe not me because I might move up, but you guys were retired and all that stuff. But will last and last and last. I think this sea of change that we seem to be feeling, these winds of change, however you want to put it, is a great thing for the region. I think, to Brother Ben's point, standing on it, it'll be a great example for the rest of fraternity as well.
Right.
So with that, before we end this, I'll give either one of you or both of you the opportunity. Any way you want to wrap up or anything you want to chat about before we go? Start with you, Brother Ben.
I just want to just say one thing. One of the things that I'm looking most forward to in terms of this next administration is the energy, the excitement of brothers being happy, the brand of the Eastern region just rising, and people being excited to be a part of the Eastern region. And I think with the right leadership that we're going to have and that we're moving forward towards, and brothers' excitement about new programming and learning and training and education, I think it's going to be a wonderful journey. Hopefully everyone is as excited as I am right now about what's going to happen one way or another. It's going to happen. So just get ready. Get ready. I'll sum up this up. Brother Coelho.
Yeah, Brother Coelho.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Ben mentioned it earlier. Folk are paying attention to this energy that's coming. You can tell by the folk that are coming to this conference, and just by the energy that's out there. Folk know what's coming, and I'm just gonna put it out there. Folk see the connection and the synergy that Brother Alston and I have, and yeah, they paying attention. I've had some of them even say it to me, not in this region, but they see what's going on, and I'm just very excited about that. I'm excited about the opportunity to continue to serve and to lead with this amazing group of brothers. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve and to lead with the two brothers that I'm on this podcast with, because I firmly believe that here is the best and the brightest of our region. and just really can't wait for the journey. Can't wait for this podcast journey to continue to grow. We're gonna change. We said last time we're gonna change the settings up. Sometimes we're gonna do things. We're gonna do different things. This is about giving something back to the brotherhood, and not just for the Eastern region. We want those brothers. We're gonna talk the talk because we want some of those other brothers in these other regions come and pay attention. When there's a hot topic in the fraternity, we want you to come see, hey, man, what they talking about on that One East podcast? What they think about what's going on? I can tell you, we certainly would have recorded one recently when all this chatter about this UK charter thing came up, and everybody want to blow up my phone during our last regional board meeting because they heard that the East is going to stand on business and we're not going to take this nonsense lying down. You ain't going to have to come call my phone. You can just come to the podcast, tune in, and just hear what the regional leadership has to say and how we feel. But at the end of the day, this leadership is going to be held to a higher standard. We will hold ourselves and one another to that standard, and we're just very excited for the opportunity to lead. We've been building for this for a long time, and we're ready to take this region to new and higher heights.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Ben and I needed to walk away when UK topic came. This whole thing, this whole monster almost came out.
Look, man, look. We mentioned that word earlier, Constitution. I mean, folks should read that. They really should. And again, look, I'm looking forward to serving with my 6 other fellow regional directors. But I'll just say, I come to that council and I take my position as leader of this region and on the general board very seriously. And one of the things you have to do as a general board member, if you're going to take it seriously, is you got to be prepared. And you got to know and understand the rules. And that's what my goal will be as the representative of this region on this general board. So I just can't make that any more clearer than just stating that.
And to that end, again, I just want to support this next regional board in any way possible. I'm looking forward to supporting in any way possible. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to support this board and the leadership of our next regional director. And I'm excited for the chance and the opportunity to be the next vice regional director. But overall, it's about the region and what's most important for the region. So as long as we understand that and we keep moving forward, I'm happy. I'm excited. So let's go. Let's get it. Stand on business, Dave. That's going to be my
stand on business.
That's going to be the title of this episode.
Stand on business.
Yeah, right. That's it. Stand on business. And I will say to Brother Coelho's point about the podcast, for brothers tuning in before we get to Eastern Regionals, be on the lookout because we're going to have the cameras, the mics, the lights, and all that stuff. We're going to be doing a bunch of shooting, photography and videography. So be on the lookout for stuff just floating around. And if you get popped with a question, just go ahead and answer it to the best of your ability. So,
love it.
With that, brothers, this wraps up episode 2 of the One Ace podcast. As I said, stay on the ready for episode 3. Stay on the ready at Eastern Regional Conference. Stay on the ready for Publicity moving forward and the 28th administration. Go Mob, brothers.
Go Mob.